The oncoming storm never felt so appropriate a nickname for the Doctor as it was during Matt Smith's early tenure, circling stormy clouds with flashes of lightning before giving way to a fiery tunnel. And now we're going to recreate Framestore's iconic look. So here we go again with another particle tunnel. Regulars, you know the drill by now. Newbies, welcome. You need to head straight to the description where you'll find links to a CC Particle World tutorial and a Trapcode Particular tutorial. Go and either watch one of the videos or just download the project files. Once you're done there, come back here and I'll show you how to adapt that project for this one. I really need to get, I don't know, maybe a card printed up? There's two elements I'm covering here, the clouds, the lightning in the clouds, and the fire. That's 3 elements. There's 3 elements I'm covering here, the clouds, the lightning in the clouds, and the fire. To get the clouds, open the particle text pre-comp. And we could just use a turbulent noise with dynamic progressive fractal type. But I found I got a better result using images of clouds. For the video at the start, I used a set of photos included in Video Copilot's Action Essentials. But either just head outside on a bright day or, Google some similar images. Scale and position each one so you get some nice textures going on. Go ahead and add in several images, arranging each photo to take up 1 second. We then need to pre-comp the photos by selecting them all, then right-clicking and choose Pre-compose. Then, with the new pre-comp selected, go to Layer, Time, Enable Time Remapping. Hold Alt and click on the time remapping stopwatch and add in the following expression. Gauss random brackets 0,7 close brackets. This chooses a random frame from the pre-comp for each frame. In my case, the textures end up looking a bit bright for the stormy look. So select the adjustment layer and go to Effect, Color Correction, Levels, and set input black to 35 and gamma to 0.66. So the blue becomes black almost. But while we're here, expand Circle 2 and set the feather to be way higher, 42. Back in the main comp, delete any color effects you might have, and now go to Effect, Color Correction, Tritone, and set the highlights to a grey blue. And then use the midtones color picker to copy this, and then drag down the brightness percentage, so the hue remains in the same color space, but we get a darker tone. And repeat this process for the shadows. Being keyframeable, you could start the tritone with much darker colors and lighten them up as the music kicks in. And here's the rotation settings I use for Particular, and this is the options for CC Particle World. I hope you'll agree that the real clouds are adding a nice, organic, natural feel, but if you don't, I'm sure you'll tell me. Hey, any engagement is engagement as far as YouTube's concerned. Speaking of which, likes really help my rankings in the search results apparently, and subscriptions help my self-esteem. I mean, I have a cat that was supposed to help with that, but I now need the kindness of internet strangers. So, now to the lightning. Create a new solid. Make it square around 250 pixels. Expand the camera null and select the null position slider. Hold Ctrl and tap C to duplicate it, and then paste this onto our new solid, which you'll also need to make 3D, and you may as well hit enter and rename it to Flash. Go back to the camera null, expand the position property on the timeline, expand the expression and copy this to Flash's position. Clear the tunnel position slider keyframes, and now we have a solid that we can position anywhere in the tunnel. So go to Effect, Generate, Circle. Expand Feather and set it to 120. And now we're going to use an expression Dan Ebbert's helped me create. I don't have to deal with lots of keyframes or lots of similar layers. I want to set a hold keyframe for the tunnel slider and have that drive the animation. So set a keyframe for the slider, right click and choose toggle hold keyframe, and then holding Alt, click on the circle's radius stopwatch. Then go get the expression from the description. It's kind of complicated looking and intimidating. YouTube doesn't allow for angle brackets, so replace the greater thans with right arrows and the less than with a left arrow. What this very clever expression is doing is saying that if the current time there is a keyframe, animate an increase in the radius. Wait for that to happen, and then animate it out. What that means for us is all we need to do is set different positions in the tunnel using the slider, and the radius will expand and contract on its own. Set the center of the circle to be away from the middle of the tunnel, and set the layers transfer mode to classic color dodge. I did try to get the center position to alter at the same time, but I found that I needed more control. So instead I just keyframe that with a hold keyframe too. So now that it's all set up, scrub along the timeline until you have a point where you want a lightning blast. Then note the camera null's slider position, and set a new keyframe for the flash's slider to be just ahead. Move the center, and repeat. That original value at time expression on the position really does start paying off. Okay, next one, the change from clouds to fire. Go to 0 seconds on the timeline and set a hold keyframe. 80 particles per second for particular, and I found about 60 for CC particle world. Then scrub the timeline to about 5 seconds. This is halfway through the tunnel, so place this wherever you like. Set a new keyframe to 0 for both. Now duplicate the layer by selecting it and going to Edit, Duplicate. And then hit enter and rename it to Fire. Drag it below the original layer and then delete the tritone effect. Hit U to expose the keyframes and switch the hold keyframes so that there's no particles for the first 5 seconds, then we have particles. In the project panel, select the particles text comp and duplicate it. If you've got lots going on, a quick way to do it is to right click on the pre-comp in the timeline and choose Reveal Layer Source in Project. So once found, go to Edit, Duplicate. Hit enter and rename this to Fire Texture. Double click to open it in the timeline and delete the clouds. Go to Layer, New, Solid, and make it comp sized and black. Make sure it's beneath the adjustment layer, and on the adjustment layer delete the levels effect. Now go to Effect, Noise and Grain, Turbulent Noise. Set the type to Dynamic Twist, the contrast to 215 and the brightness to 10. Expand Transform and set the scale to 50%. Hold Alt and click on the Evolution stopwatch and add in the usual time times 1000. If you're using CC Particle World, turn the effect's opacity down to 70%. And while we're on this layer, go to Effect, Color Correction, Colorama. Expand the output cycle and in the drop down choose Fire. Back in the main comp, drag in our new Fire texture pre-comp. Make sure it's at the start and turn it off. Select the particle effect on the fire layer and set its texture to the fire particles. If you're using CC Particle World, set the particle transfer mode to screen, but leave it on normal for particular. Cool. Except for the end of the tunnel, particular cuts off the end of the tunnel because of the visibility settings, and it's black. So with the layer selected, go to Layer, Solid Settings, and change the layer to a warm orangey red. Then in Particular's rendering settings, set the blend type to normal. So now we can see the end of the tunnel fading out to red, but this makes its own issue. If I scrub back to the clouds, the layer is appearing underneath the clouds. So we just need to add in opacity keyframes so that we don't have to worry about it until the fire shows up. For CC Particle World, we don't actually have that issue to worry about, but you could play around with fades and fogs if you wanted to in the extra settings. All that's left is to add in the TARDIS using C4D Light, Element, or you could probably get away with a still image or a rotating spinny TARDIS. If you don't have the skills to do this, let me know in the comments, and I'll share a rotating TARDIS with an alpha channel to get you started. For the fonts and logos, check out Clayton Hickman's font GIF. linked in the description. And the name font has been reproduced by qfonfonts.com. Wow, so many resources. We need more time. Get it? Time, because it's time travel.